Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my Diablo 3 series. This is the first episode, so it's not really welcome back, but hello anyway. This is straight off the next day after the introduction video, which was yesterday. So I'm just going to do some riffs, and I'm going to talk about the build, because not much has really changed. I've changed up my belt, my pants, and my boots. Some of the stats, I've enchanted it. So I'll show you right there. This one's got intellect now. This one has 2 sockets with intellect gems on it. And this one has vitality, which it already had vitality, but it's a little bit more vitality. I also changed my amulet, so it's pretty much just for the next build I'm doing. I'm changing up this build, so that's pretty much why I have this different neck piece. The other one was probably better for this one. But I'm already figuring out my next build, so it seems like it's going to be a pretty good one, to be honest. So yeah, this build basically is just for leveling up, mostly because it hasn't really been that effective as of recently. So since I've max leveled and stuff, it hasn't been that good. So this has been just a work in progress through the whole leveling, like the whole leveling time. So the first ability that this uses is left click is electrocute. Now I'll talk about electrocute later. It's the only reason I use it is for one of the passives, so we'll talk about that one later. I'll just skip to the next ability, okay? So disintegrate. Disintegrate is my right click ability. The reason I use disintegrate is it's just good for getting through all the targets, hitting everything, and so you don't have to focus bosses and stuff like that. So I use the Morph Chaos Nexus, and I'll show you what that does. So I'm going to aim the other way, and as you can see, additional beams come out my butt and hit these guys anyway, and I just killed them with it. So that's all it does really. It just gives an extra beam to nearby enemies, so it gives multiple extra beams actually. So that's pretty much all that is, and that's why I use Chaos Nexus, just extra DPS really. So onto the next ability, teleport with wormhole as its morph. Now the reason I use teleport is just for mobility. There's no other reason. It's not for the one where it uses the wave force or whatever. So it's just for mobility. I don't like any of the other passives, any of the other abilities in as the one key. So that's why I use teleport. So onto the second ability. I know I'm not on it right now, but my second ability is Hydra. I haven't used it yet, but I'll show you what Hydra is. I use the Arcane Hydra morph. So once I get out of Archon, I'll just click out of it actually. So this is a Hydra. Basically I only use it on elites and champions and Rift Guardians if I don't have Archon already up, which isn't very often. So usually I don't use it. I haven't talked about Archon yet, so don't worry if you think you missed something. Storm Shield. I use Storm Shield basically because I don't like any other ability in the Conjuration line. That's really the only reason. I also don't like Storm Shield that much, but the reason I use it is because it has a morph on it that reduces the cost of arcane abilities. So that's why I used it. It's basically all that Storm Armor does is it just does a little electric bolt to nearby enemies. You would have seen it. It's like this little purple thing. I'll go up to an enemy and I'll show you. So we'll just find an enemy real quick, and I will not attack it, and I'll show you the little beam. Okay, so see that beam right there? That's the beam. There you go. There's the beam. So it's not very often and stuff like that. So it's not really that good. I pretty much only use it for its passive. So yeah, on to the next one, Archon. Now you've heard me talk about Archon. It's because I really like Archon. It's great. It's a great ability. The morph that I use on it is Combustion. This probably isn't the best morph for it, but the reason I use Combustion is because it deals additional damage on activation. So it basically uses a Fire Blast when you activate it. Fire Blast is this ability right here as well. Just in case you didn't know, it's the one ability. So yeah, that's why I like it. It's just really high damage. I only use it on elites usually, So I just finished it on those elites, and then there was it was just leftover, so I might as well have used it. That's pretty much all there is to this build. I'll just go over the passives really quickly. So we've got Prodigy. I won't go over this really quickly because there's a reason I use Prodigy and Electrocute that I haven't talked about. So the reason I use Prodigy is because Electrocute gives me not just Electrocute, all left click abilities give you 5 arcane power regen every time you cast it. So it's every time you cast, not every time it hits an enemy. That's why I use Blast, because you can also just use it at things like that. And as you can see, it shoots twice even when I hit an object. So it's really good for regenning, and it's really fast attack speed. That's the only reason I use Electrocute with Lightning Blast, is because it's really high attack speed. So that's pretty much those. I'll go on to the second one that I'll talk about is Dominance. So Dominance pretty much gives you a shield. It's right there, Dominance. It gives you a shield whenever you get a kill. So if I get a kill, it's gone now, as you can see, because it only lasts a while. So you can see I get a kill, it stacks up to 10 times. So right now it's on 6. If I get another kill, 7, 8, 9, and there wasn't a 10th, but you know. So that's basically all that does. There you go, 10. Alright, so it's really, really good. I use it so that I don't die. I'll probably keep that on for most of the builds because I'm kind of relied on it for long enough that I feel like it's going to be hard to go without it. So the third passive that I use is Astral Presence. So it gives me 20 arcane power and 2.5 arcane power regen. It's just pretty much for arcane power. There's not really much to that one. It's just for arcane power. For my fourth one, I use Unwavering Will. So Unwavering Will gives me additional damage and additional armor and stuff like that whenever I stand still for 1.5 seconds. So I can stand still for 1.5 seconds and then attack, and there you go. That's some free additional damage and additional armor and stuff like that. So that's why I use that. I always stand still for my kills, so for most things really, so that's why I use it. We'll just get rid of this Rift Guardian and then we'll end the video on that. I've already come up with my next build. It's gonna relate to arcane power mostly. Hopefully I get something good here. Nah, didn't. Oh well. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the next build. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all later.